Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Dominic from the Primetime Treasure eBay store and YouTube channel. I want to welcome you into another video that I hope will be a useful resource for a long time to come for people who are either new into reselling, like Stacy Ann Spano, who's a new subscriber. Welcome in, Stacy Ann. Also, it could be useful for people who have been at this for a while. People like Ozzie Morrison and Laura Cohn and Sheila Hamilton. Welcome back in, all of you as well, longer time subscribers to this channel. Stacy Ann and all the other people I mentioned are all members of the Facebook Reselling Resource Center, as is Becky Pollier, who asked a question in that group, and that's my Facebook group that I run. If you want to join that, just go down below into the description section. But Becky had a question, and her question had to do with how are people going about organizing their shipping and their handling stations, and also how are they sourcing material to use for shipping and handling. And that's what I want to go over with you today. I want to go over some general organizational strategies, some tips and tricks, both in terms of just staying organized and also for sourcing materials that you're going to use for shipping, either for free or for next to nothing, essentially. So let's start by talking about the area by which you have to work in. That's the most basic thing. And you want an area like this where you're going to have clear space. You don't want a cluttered mess where you're working. That's going to be very stressful, and it's going to lead to mistakes, and it's going to even lead to products getting damaged by things falling on it and stuff like that. So you don't want to do that. Make sure, by the way, you keep that area clear from any liquids or drinks. You don't want that stuff spilling onto your product. That will be very bad. So anyway, so right here for me, this actually happens to be a place where I store my some of my inventory. So these are comic book boxes, and but they're all the same size, and they're all pretty much level, so they essentially serve as like a table for me. But you could use a table, you could use a desk or something like that. And one of the tips to keeping this area clear is to have some type of overhead storage system that you could use, something like this, like a shelf, or you could have a cabinet or something like that. And the point of that is to have materials that are easy for you to reach, that you would need while you're doing your shipping and while you're doing your handling aspect of it. So you don't have to have everything cluttered all over the place, because then it could get really kind of messy and disorganized, and you're going to have less room to work. So you don't want that. So that's where the shelf could come in really handy. And basically one of my tips is that you want to have everything, or mostly everything that you need, really within arm's reach. Now that doesn't mean that it all has to be above you. I do have a lot of stuff above me that I'm going to show you, but you could have that stuff either to the side of you somewhere. You could have it down below, which I'm going to show you in a second. You could have it left, right, whatever. It just needs to be somewhere that's nearby, where you can access it. So let's just go through kind of a couple examples of some things that I would ship. We're going to get into things that I think everyone would probably ship. A lot of people who are watching this sell clothes, so I'll go over clothes like t-shirts and packing that a little bit later, and some ideas with that. But basically what I'm going to show you, it doesn't really matter what it is that you ship, because the same principles are going to apply regardless. So yes, I'm going to start out with what I sell the most of, which are comic books, but don't worry about that if you have, if you don't do anything with comic books. It doesn't matter, because as you're going to see with this first example, the principles remain the same no matter what it is that you're shipping. But let's say, for example, I have a comic book that I need to ship. So I'm going to take my comic book, maybe I even have it right here, or I have it somewhere else. I pull it out of my inventory, and now I need to just get it ready to send out. So what I'm going to do is I am going to want to protect this, so I'm going to want to wedge it between two pieces of thick cardboard. And so to do that, I need to have the cardboard somewhere nearby. I don't want to have to go upstairs and get it somewhere. I want it to be right nearby. So if you look right down here, I have stacks of cardboard that all I have to do is bend down, and I just grab two pieces like that. I bring it right back up, and simple as that. I'm going to take it. I'm going to wedge the comic book in between here. I'm going to just take some tape from up here. I'm just going to tape it up, make sure it's protected so it doesn't fall out, and now I need to put in an envelope. Now I don't want to run upstairs to get an envelope, or run downstairs to get an envelope, or have to go in a completely separate room to get an envelope. That's not efficient, it wastes time. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to reach right overhead. I'm going to grab my envelope, and as you notice, I have a whole big stack of them, and I'm just going to take them, and I'm just going to put it right in here. And then all I got to do is close it, clasp it, put some tape on it, and I'm going to want to write do not bend on it because I don't want it to get damaged. So just write that right here because I have my marker. Just got to print out the label. Good to go. Take about a minute or less to do this. And that's how you just do it efficiently. Now, along the way as I give these tips, I'm also going to talk to you about some sourcing stuff in terms of how you could get materials cheaply. Now, you see here, this is a big stack that I have here of these clasp envelopes. I mean, here, right here, just for example, all of this right here, like this stack right there, I basically didn't really even pay for this. The way I got this was through an estate sale, and I see these all the time at estate sales, and they just sit there for hours and hours and hours sometimes because I can't go to every estate sale right at the beginning. Sometimes I'll come in towards the end and I'll just see these all different sizes, and I just pick them up. And when I go to check out, you know, and they're pricing out different things, there's a lot of times they'll just say, oh, the envelopes, nah, just take them. You know, they won't even put a price on it. So, you know, and if they do, it's nothing crazy. I mean, it'll be like, oh, you want all that? It'll be like $1. Now, if you were to really price out how much it would cost to get 100 of these class envelopes, it's going to be a heck of a lot more than $1. Some of these, when I was, you know, getting ready to, you know, start shipping things out in bigger quantities, I just went out and I purchased something like this through Amazon. Just buying it in bulk, you know, was a good way for me to get it. Now, when I purchase things through Amazon, the way I like to do that, and just a little tip for you, if you're an Amazon Prime member, is that you could get an Amazon Prime credit card. And so for any purchases that you make through Amazon, you get 5% cashback bonus, and then there's other levels of cashback bonuses that you get for purchases outside of Amazon, like, you know, 3%, for example. And then what I like to do is I like to use that cashback bonus money to purchase my shipping material. So I, you know, might say, for example, you know, $15 for this box, but then I apply my, you know, $50 of cashback bonus to it, and it says zero balance when I check out. Now, technically, you could argue that I am paying for it because I am using cashback bonus, but I think you know what I mean, that it doesn't really feel like you're paying for it because there's a zero balance at the end and there's no cash that's coming out of your actual account. It's all cashback bonus money that you're using. Another thing you might not know is that if you have a Discover card, which I do as well, you could link your Discover card to your Amazon.com account, and you could actually set it up so that you get cashback bonus applied from your Discover card also to your Amazon account, so you could draw off the Discover card as well. So I have both that I basically go back and forth between, and I use to constantly source materials like bubble wrap, for example. You know, used to be envelopes, but now I get so many of them at estate sales that I don't even have to purchase them anymore. I can't remember the last time that I actually purchased an envelope that I use. Now, the other principle that I'm going to talk to you about is just making sure that you are prepared for different types of contingencies. So when you list an item up for sale on eBay or any other type of reselling site, you really need to know that you have a way to ship that once it sells. In other words, you have the proper size box or you have the proper size envelope, especially if you have one-day shipping and handling fees set. So what you don't want to happen is that the item sells and then you say, oh crap, I don't know if I have a box for this size, for this item. I don't know if I have an envelope for that size. And then you're running around, you know, looking, and you can't find one. So now you have to drive out to the grocery store or, you know, local drugstore or something and try to find a box. And they may have one, they may not. And then when you're out, something else stressful happens, and it just, you know, it could all be prevented by being prepared in advance. So before you put an item up, here's just another Primetime Treasure tip. Make sure you know that you have a way to ship that item, either that you have a box that's the right size or an envelope the right size. And when you realize that you do have that box or that envelope, don't use it to put something else in and then not replace it when that item that you actually got it for sells. That's just another tip as well. So like an example of what I'm talking about, let's just say, and again, I'm going to use comic books, but you could use this for anything. It doesn't matter. Let's say this book sold, okay? Now, this book you've seen in the background a lot of my videos. You see I picked it up at a haul video, and I just love the cover so much. That's why I kind of keep it in the background. I think it just looks like a cool picture. But anyway, let's just say I sold it, okay? And I went to get one of my pieces of cardboard to use to protect it because I want to make sure it doesn't get damaged. Well, if I took this and this is pretty much the standard size strip of cardboard that you're going to find, you know, for your average box that you cut up. Here's the problem. It's not big enough, okay? So I won't be able to protect it with this. So I need to make sure I have something on hand that's wider than this. And so what I love to use from that are the Amazon boxes that they ship the bubble wrap to you in. And believe it or not, Amazon doesn't ship it in a plastic bag like they ship their, like Uline ships their air pillows, like these things, okay? They ship it always in a big box that looks just like this. Now, I actually had this one come in today. What you see right here, this is actually what they ship the bubble wrap in. Okay, whether or not it's the small bubbles or the large bubbles, this is what it comes in. I'll show you what it looks like right here. It's right there. Big thing of bubble wrap right there. It ships like that. So what I like to do is, I'm just going to move this to the side, for example, to show you, is I will take the box and I will break it down. And then what I'm going to do is I could just take these panels and see here, now it's going to fit, and I could just cut it to size, and I could use this strip of cardboard here, which is going to be big enough now to send this out. Or I could just put it right here, for example, and it's going to go out, and then I get the other side right here, and basically just cut these panels up and use them as cardboard protection for my bigger sized books. So that's something I like to do as well. Now, that's the cardboard part of it, but what about the clasp envelope? Because this envelope is not going to be big enough, obviously, for this book. There's going to be a problem here. So I need to make sure that I have something on hand for that. And so that's why you'll see here, just right next to me, again, you'll notice it's close. I have these 11.5 by 14.5 clasp envelopes. It's a big box of them. I got these through Amazon, again, using the credit that I was talking to you about earlier. And as you can see here, they're much bigger. And once I wedge the cardboard, wedge the comic book within the cardboard, then what happens, I just take it, put it right in here. See, now it's in there, seals it right up, goes right out, just like the smaller one. So be prepared for different contingencies. So this is a 9 by 12. That's an 11.5 by 14.5. But then, as you'll see over here, show you another part here. You'll see here, I have a whole bunch of 10 by 13. So this is kind of between the two sizes that I showed you. And you'll see what I stack up here are all different sizes of envelopes. Small ones, small clasp envelopes. And they're things that I'm basically reusing. There's something fell right there, sorry. Things that I'm reusing from Amazon, typically, the things that they're sending me in the mail. So I just take them, keep them right here, and then what happens is I just peel the address label off and I reuse it. A lot of people don't realize that they can do that. You absolutely can do that. So use the stuff that Amazon is sending you for free in the mail anyway, and just reuse it. Very, very simple thing to do. Okay, that's a question actually a lot of people have, is can I take Amazon boxes and can I reuse them? Now, I've done a video on that, but if you haven't seen that, yes, you can do that. Another thing you could do is you could just cut the box and reverse it, and if you don't want the Amazon label to show, but the post office carriers are still going to take it whether it has the Amazon label on it or not. That's just up to you, personal preference, whether or not you want that, you know, the Amazon symbol to show or not. So, but you can do that, just so you're aware of that. So now, another place where you could source materials for free would be the United States Postal Service. Now, remember, these materials are only to be used for shipping through the U.S. Postal Service. You are not supposed to take priority mail envelopes, for example, and use them as packing material. That's against the law. That's a crime. You could get in trouble for that if you get caught. So don't do that. But you see here, I have this stack of flat rate envelopes right near me. And these are things that will save you a ton of money. In fact, my most popular video that I did was on these envelopes. The reason is because if you're shipping out items by weight, for example, from coast to coast, so I'm in New York, I ship it out to California, automatically it's going to be $10 priority. But if I get it in this somehow, and this is nice and flexible, as opposed to the cardboard version of this, which isn't, it's going to be $6.90 no matter what the weight is, no matter where it goes. So this is very helpful to have on hand. I always like to just have them nearby me. So, you know, depending on what it is that I'm selling, and if it's even a small box, you could take a small box and you could put the box in here like this, and you could just then wrap this around the box, and you could just ship it out that way. What I mean is, when I say wrap it around the box, not like this. Let's say this was a box, not like that. What I mean is you actually put the box in here like that, and then you wrap it around like that way. And you could send it out that way. So it doesn't just all have to be flat, the thing that you put in here. Just keep that in mind. But you could order these through the United States Postal Service's website, and they will send these to you in the mail. You get a nice stack of them, and they don't cost you anything. You know, you could order them in stacks of 25, 50, you know, however many you need, and you'll generally get them within, you know, a few days to a week. So there's all different sorts of ones that you can use. You know, over here, you'll see I have a closet door. Inside the closet door, I have all other things that you could use. Now, I have never opened this closet door in a Primetime Treasure video before, so this is going to be a first here. Inside this closet, there are all sorts of other shipping materials that I keep on hand. So, for example, if I need small bubble wrap, in terms of small bubbles, I have that right there. All I have to do is reach right in, and I just grab it, and I'm all set. Or, if I need large bubbles, I just go right here. Here's my large bubbles. All I literally have to do is reach over, and they're right there, just stacked one on top of one another. So I got that in there. Or let's say I'm using my tape gun, and as you can see here, I'm starting to run out of tape. Well, I don't want to have to go run upstairs to get a new piece of tape. So let me just show you right here. Show you right inside. See here, I just have my tape right here. I just grab another roll, and I've got stacks of it right here. I just pull from that, and I'm all set. And as you can see here, I have my, you know, I have my bubble wrap, for example, and I have large poly mailers that I just pull from right here as well. Here's a whole big stack of large poly mailers. Sorry, it's a little bit dark in there. Probably just gonna move on down this way, and we'll start talking about boxes, because boxes are one of the things that really trip people up who are new into selling, because what they'll do is they'll go out and they'll get a bunch of priority mail boxes, and they'll try to fit everything in the priority mail boxes. And quickly what you're going to realize is that not everything fits in a priority mail box, and two, there's going to be things that would fit in a priority mail box, but is going to be super expensive sending it out that way, and you could have sent it out much cheaper if, for example, you use first class mail as an option, or maybe media mail or something like that, depending on what the item was. So don't make the mistake of trying to fit every single thing into a priority mail box. You're going to need to have boxes different shapes and sizes. So let me show you over here. We're going to move over to a different location, and I'm going to show you my box system that I have back here. So what you're going to see is that I have all different types of boxes, all different shapes and sizes to accommodate all sorts of different things that I sell, all sorts of different sizes. So not everything, for example, I'm going to move off camera for just a second probably, but not everything is going to fit in these priority mailboxes. Okay? You know, a lot of things will, but not everything will. So you might have a really big item, for example, like let's say, or maybe it's not super huge, but it's pretty big. Like let's say this, and this was from one of my haul videos. Let's say I have this billiard sign, okay, this 3D billiard sign. There's no priority mailbox that you're going to be able to put this in. Just doesn't exist. So you're going to need something for that contingency. So as you can see back there, I have boxes of all different shapes and sizes that something like this could go in. So for example, maybe I would pull out this big guy right here. And now I'm all set for when this baby sells. I put it right in here, protect it, and it's going to go out, it's going to fit in there. Okay? So I'm going to be all set with that. Now in terms of storing these boxes, and where do I get these boxes? Well, look what we have here, Amazon. A lot of these boxes that I have are Amazon boxes. They're not all Amazon boxes, but a lot of them are. And like I said, you could reuse them. Some of them are boxes that I just find, let's say, laying around in a department store. A lot of them are ones that I find in a grocery store. I've said this before, but for these types of cardboard strips that I like to cut up, the best place that I find those are laying down their open bread boxes at the grocery store. Just go over to the bread section, the bakery section, and they just have them flattened. They're already opened and they're just stacked up, and I just go in there. They don't care. I just go in, I grab a whole big giant stack of them, I put them on top of my grocery cart, and I just head out. And I've got a whole big stack of free cardboard that I use. I don't have to pay anything for it. Do not go out to Walmart or Target and buy cardboard boxes. There is absolutely no need to do that. It is the biggest ripoff, and it makes absolutely no sense because there are boxes galore all around. Tell people that you know that you're looking for boxes. They'll save them for you. I have people at all different places who know that I'm looking for boxes who save boxes for me, and I just take them home and and I use them. Here's a box right here that I got from Office Max. So use that one. And it just doesn't matter. They're all different shapes and sizes. In terms of storing them, be creative. You don't want to have to cut all of them up and lay them flat like this because I have some of them like that, kind of my smaller ones I have like that, but you don't want to have to do that with all of them because it could sometimes get hard to visualize exactly how big they are once they're assembled. So it's just more convenient and saves you time if they are assembled. But as you might imagine, these things could really start to accumulate. So you have to be creative in terms of how you store them. So as you can see here, if you open this up, this box, I have boxes stored within boxes. So here's another box inside this big box, and here's another box in here too, so they're side by side. And then what's going to happen when I open this box, there's going to be another box inside that one, and then another box inside that one. So that's how you could store a whole bunch of different size boxes in one small area. So just in this little area, I probably have like, let's see, one is the big box, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have probably 8 or 10 boxes inside this one box. So that's just an organizational tip and strategy. Now, you're going to have to take some time and to dedicate to make sure that you just kind of organize this system and put all the boxes together. But once you get it done once, it should be pretty easy to kind of maintain it. So that's something to do as well. And as you'll see, they are all different shapes and sizes. So and I kind of know in my head where I have certain things located. So for example, sometimes I need some small boxes that I'm going to ship out. So I have like a box like this, which just, you know, has some small boxes like this that I could use to ship out. Or sometimes, and I did a video on this, sometimes I sell bottles like this here, and I want to protect it really well. So what I'll do after I bubble wrap it is I'll put it in one of these little cylindrical tubes right here like this, and then I'll just take some cardboard wedges, like you see that cardboard that's up there, cardboard strips. I keep them right above me so I could use them to like make a little cap right here and make a cap on this end, then just tape it together, and now I've got a nice little mailing tube. Just pack it in with some packing paper. I'll have to show you something on the packing paper in just a second. And then I have a nice little mailing tube to send out. Now, where did I get this? Well, if you saw my video on it, you'd know, but if you didn't see it, where did I get this? Does this look familiar at all? Well, I'll show you. See that? Right there? That's where it comes from. Once this thing is done, once I'm done with the bubble wrap, I take this, I save it to the side, and now I have a whole big thing of mailing tubes that I could send out, just like that. So they're all ready, and I know where they're all condensed in one location. Or, you know, I have another box right here with just assorted, you know, little smaller boxes of different sizes. You know, sometimes I might sell like a medallion or a medal or something like that, and I just need a little small box to ship it in. So something like that. So I have all different contingencies ready, and I know where they are. I have it organized into a system. One of the things I sell a lot of, if you saw in one of my recent videos, I have a whole, like half a shelf filled with these Funko Pop toys that I sell. And when I order on eBay, if you have an eBay store, this is another tip, if you have an eBay store, you do get a $25 credit for one of the more basic levels of stores. You get a $25 credit every quarter that you can use to order shipping materials. Now, you might choose to order tape, you might choose to order air mailers, you might choose to order boxes. And you could order them typically in like stacks of 100. So for example, if you'll see over here, I'll show you, I have this, and I got this all in one shot. These are eBay boxes, and I just have them in a stack right on the floor, just like that. Came in 100, and the size on these, I think it says it's 10 by 8 by 6. So I bought them specifically for Funko Pops. So as you can see, what I do is once one of them sells, I just fold it up really easily like that, and the Funko Pop fits inside really nicely, just like this. So this will fit in here real nicely. All you need to do is bubble wrap it and put some air pillows around it to make sure it doesn't shake around inside the box. With regards to air pillows, they will basically come in a big giant garbage bag like this. If you order them through Amazon, they ship them out this way through Uline. That's the company right here. As you can see on the bag, it's Uline. And the ones that they send you are, you know, basically moderate size one, and they just kind of pull out of the bag like this, like intestines. And so you need to keep that near you as well, so you could just grab behind you. I actually have a separate bag behind me in my shipping location, so I could just reach behind and just grab them out and just put them in the box as I pack and as I ship. Now, there's a few ways to save money on purchasing these and acquiring these air pillows. One is, again, I use the store credit to or the cashback bonus through Amazon to get these air pillows or air packets. The other thing that I do is when I come across them, either through packages that get sent to me through Amazon or some other source, I take them and I save them and I put them in one of these bags that they send me through Amazon. So if you look in here, you'll see is the one I'm actually pulling from right now. I have thin ones like this. I have green ones like this that are thinner. I have poofy ones like this. that are, you know, like a square shape, and, you know, then I have giant ones like this, which are cool because then I could use them to basically fit different types of spaces. Sometimes you just want to have that one big one to cover one big space. Sometimes you just need a smaller one to fit a little slot in a box. So that's another way to just, you know, kind of have all of the different types of air packets organized in one place in that big bag, and you can just pull from it in that way. Other thing that I would suggest to do as a shipping tip, just to save money on having to use those air packets, is to use a box cutter sometimes, where basically what this does is, I have a separate video on this which I'll put in the description section, but it clips on the side of the box, and this circular knife right here just cuts around the box, and then you just collapse the flaps down, and because you're collapsing the flaps down and reducing the size of the box, you obviously don't have space there where you need to put air pillows or air packets in. So this little gadget, which I think costs around 12 bucks, completely pays for itself. I'll put the link to the video again down below, and the link to the gadget if you want to check that out. Other things, sometimes you don't want to use air packets. You want to use paper to stuff the spaces. And so what you see over here is I have spare packing paper right here, and I keep it all in this big bag. So Amazon, for example, is famous for, you know, sending, you know, big reams of paper like this. And so I just take it, put it to the side right here, and I have it right available to pull from. And as you can see, it's right next to me in my shipping station. The other thing is that I also have a bag down below here where the bag is specifically just filled with little strips of cardboard and little things that I might want to use as wedges sometimes, just to protect items in boxes. So I keep a certain amount of these strips available. Don't get me wrong, at a certain point there's ones that I'm going to throw out, but I do make sure I keep a nice stock of these available. Now, one of the other things that I want to talk to you about in terms of organization is making sure that you have enough of these materials available for you when you need them. So, you know, you have to have kind of a threshold that you're looking at. For example, be it how many rolls of tape you have left, how many rolls of bubble wrap you have left, that you make sure you order enough so that you have enough on hand for, you know, whatever time period you're going to be, you know, looking at for however. Another thing that I want to talk to you about is making sure that you have enough shipping material on hand so that you don't run out. And the way you do that is you make sure you order your shipping materials in bulk. And once you see that you're getting to about half of what it is that you need, that's when you get triggered to make sure you order another batch so you never run out. So I keep, for example, 2 big rolls of bubble wrap on hand, small and large, and whenever that first one runs out, I immediately make sure that I order another one coming through on Prime within a few days, because I know I'm not going to get rid of that big other one that I have in just 1 or 2 days. So that's basically the principle that you should follow, whether or not it's envelopes, whether or not it's bubble wrap, whether or not it's air packets, is making sure once you hit that halfway point that you order a new set of materials. Now, I showed you in terms of packing material, air packets, but another thing that you want to keep on hand and keep it near you would be basically packing paper and also little wedges of cardboard that you might want to use. You know, to wedge certain items into boxes, or maybe it's something fragile and you want to protect the outside of the item by putting some flat wedges of cardboard around it. So what I do here is right next to me on my shipping station, I have this whole big garbage bag that is filled with basically pieces of paper that just got sent as, you know, packing paper from other places like Amazon, and I just basically fold it up or break it up and I keep it in this bag. And then I could just easily, as you can imagine, if I'm sitting here or standing here and I'm shipping, I can just pull from it and just take it, grab it really easily, put it in the box, line the box with this protective padding, and I'm all set. I'll also keep some spare pieces of bubble wrap to the side, like trimmed pieces like this, so that I could also grab from that if I want something with a little bit more of a padded protection. Another thing that I'll do is I have another separate bag in here where I keep some spare wedges of cardboard. So they're like little strips that I might need for various types of projects when I'm shipping something out. Either maybe I need a wedge, or I just need like a small piece to kind of cover a hole in a box or something like that. These are really helpful to keep these strips. So at a certain point you don't have to save them once you fill up the bag, but having a bag like this, again, right near you that you could just easily pull from is helpful. Other types of things that you would need for shipping would be poster tubes. So right here, you see I have a whole poster tube area. Again, the key principle is that everything is located in one spot, grouped by what it is. So this is basically the shipping tube location. You could see I have big ones like this that I found at an estate sale. This one I found at an estate sale. These I just got at Staples for a cheap price. They're smaller ones, and they're all to fit different size posters. Some of the posters are, just kind of like your standard one like this, but some of them are much larger, and I actually keep them in these tubes for safekeeping until I actually sell them. So that's another thing, but again, the key is they're all located in the same area. Over here, you could see I have some priority boxes, and so I'll just kind of, this is my location where I know I have them all stored, and they're just kind of right behind there. So if I ever need to pull one, I have it available. All right, let's just go over to one last area, because I want to just show you a simple organized system that you could use when you're preparing clothes for shipping. Clothes are one of the most common items that people sell on eBay. I sell a lot of them, particularly t-shirts, and that is one of the most common type of clothing item that people sell and ship. However, the system that I'm talking to you about, or going to talk to you about, is something that you could use for any type of clothing item. It doesn't matter if it's jeans or some other type of pants, or if it's sweaters or jackets, doesn't matter. But let me show you what I'm talking about. Right down here, you're going to see, this is my storage shelf, and I have a section that is dedicated just to clothes. And so right here, what you see is I have an entire column that just has t-shirts, and right here I have a column that has the more wintry type of clothes, like the pajamas and the pants and that type of stuff. So when I sell a t-shirt, I instantly know all I have to do is go right here to this stack, and the t-shirt must be there. It's not going to be laying around somewhere upstairs. It's not going to be laying in a trunk somewhere. It has to be right here. That's the only place it could possibly be. So let's say I sold a black t-shirt, my black Rob Zombie shirt. Well, I know that this has to be the one, because this is the only black t-shirt that's in the stack. So I quickly pull it off. Notice how it's already folded, so it's already ready to go in the shipping bag. And where do I have the shipping bag? Well, I'm keeping it really close to where the clothes are. It's right over here, and I have a whole big stack from top to the bottom of the floor of these eBay they're basically bubble wrap mailer bags, and they're just big enough that they fit t-shirts inside of it, and they even also fit long sleeve shirts. You could stuff them in there really good, and this helps keep everything under 16 ounces for the most part, and will get it shipped out cheaper rather than putting it in a box or shipping it priority. Remember, for t-shirts, unless it's some weird type of item, it's generally not going to get damaged by putting inside one of these bags. So you could just take it, open up the small bubble wrap mailer, take your t-shirt, just put it right in there like this. That's it. Pull off your two self-adhesive flaps, fold them over, and this literally is going to take you 10 seconds or less. But it's not going to take you 10 seconds or less if you don't have everything organized like that, and if you don't have these shipping bags right near where you need to just grab them. Like let's say they're, you know, upstairs somewhere and now you have to go run upstairs and get them. So keep everything nearby. That's a general principle that I tried to show you throughout this video, no matter what it is that you're trying to sell, whether it's comic books, whether it's clothes, whether it's bigger type of hard items where you know going to use those boxes. Notice where I keep the boxes is right next to my shipping station. So I just pull it right off the box. I go right over to the shipping station, and then I have my tape. I have, you know, my bubble wrap. I have my, you know, my scissors. I have everything I need is right there. So I hope that you found this video helpful and, you know, just kind of get an understanding of the type of organizational system that I use. If you found this helpful, please hit the like button and share it with others, and also add your organizational tips that you use that maybe I didn't cover in this video. I'd like to hear those as well. You know, that's very important. I don't want it to just be a situation where I'm just telling you things. I'd like to hear kind of things that you have as a suggestion as well. Also, make sure you subscribe to this channel if you like the kind of things that you're seeing and you like the kind of content that's being put out. That will motivate me to continue to make more videos for you. So that's real important, just to subscribe. And lastly, make sure you come by. I've mentioned it, the Facebook Reselling Resource Center. That's my Facebook group. The link to it is down below. Come on by, join the group, and you'll see it's a great time. And there's a free Be on the Lookout item of the day and lots of other great things, links, news, videos, all sorts of things that you'll see there. So hope you found this helpful, and I'll see you at the next video. Bye, everyone.